Hey Dad, can you help me with this puzzle?
Ariana, can't you see that I'm busy? Do it by yourself. How I beat depression. I don't want that to come off as insensitive or inconsiderate. This is a very difficult video for me to make, being that it's very personal and it's going to bring up a lot of emotions that I have dealt with in the past. But my hope is that my story helps others, and that's all that really matters. So, growing up as a child, we suffered poverty. And what I mean by that is we had no water, no electricity, no gas. Now, my mother and my older sisters did make sure that there was always food on the table. That is probably the first time me experiencing seeing depression. I remember my father used to sleep in all the time, and he pretty much gave up on life. It was very, very tough times, and I can only imagine how hard they were for my mother and my older siblings. We were able to get out of that situation and things got a lot better. My dad, even though suffering from depression, he would do what he could to make us happy, and I will always be thankful for that. Now, you may be wondering, why am I bringing this information up? Well, I need to understand where my depression originated from, and a lot of times it develops as a young child all the way to an adolescent and an adult. The rest of my childhood was pretty great. I had fun with friends, I did normal kid things, and I pretty much enjoyed life. Middle school was a little bit of a challenge that I will explain in another video. Now, it wasn't until high school, when Elizabeth was pregnant and we had our first child, that depression really started to unfold. And it had nothing to do with us having our son. It more had to do with the ridicule that Elizabeth and I faced throughout high school. It can be tough for teenagers growing up. It was especially tough for me, and I can only imagine how tough it was for Elizabeth. I remember in my early 20s is when my depression was in full effect. I remember being irresponsible, self centered, and immature. I would literally drink all night and be hungover and sleep all day. I would sleep from 5 in the morning till 5 in the afternoon, and all I wanted to do was just party. Whatever low income that I had would always go towards drinking. I contemplated suicide many times. Here I was, living at home with my parents, no job, no experience, no education. I was an absolute wreck. Now, eventually, I did reconnect with Elizabeth, and that was probably the greatest thing that could have ever happened to me. You see, at that time, Elizabeth was very successful for being in her early 20s, and it really motivated me to want to do something with my life. I didn't know quite what I wanted to do, but I know that I really wanted to impress her. I want to go ahead and segue for a moment, and then I will tie it all together at the end. I want to talk about my mother. My mother had a very tough upbringing growing up. She lost both parents at the age of 18, and being an older sibling, she had to take care of her younger brothers. She migrated from Mexico to America, and she made a life for herself here with my father. My father, who was also an alcoholic, I never saw him drink because of the fact that before he passed away, he had been sober for almost 40 years. Now, my parents have always been there for me. Even though I've made life extremely difficult for them, they never gave up on me, and they were always there for me. You see, the reason that I'm bringing this all up is because all of this helped me beat my depression. It made me realize that yes, I did have a hard time growing up, but so did millions of other people. And a lot of them had it a lot harder than I did. Now, I don't mean for that to sound as if I think my life is better than anybody's, because it's not. What I'm trying to explain is that there are people happier with less than what you have. And that completely changed my entire mood and outlook on life. There are essential things that people struggle to have every day: food, water, shelter. And a lot of times we take that for granted. So once I started appreciating a lot of the things that I have that people take for granted every single day, that's when my depression really started to subside and I started to appreciate life a little more. I appreciate everything that I have, especially my family, my wife, my children, my parents, my siblings, cousins, aunts, so on and so forth. I am so thankful to have a great family that has supported me for so long. I absolutely appreciate life more, and I don't ever take it for granted, and you should never take it for granted either. I do not mean to undermine anybody's situation. Everybody's story is different, and I would never mean to undermine any of your struggles. This is just my story that I wanted to share with you guys, and hopefully it might let you see things from a different perspective. I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up here because the sun is going down. I really hope that you enjoyed this video. I really hope that it helped with any of the struggles that you're going through. Please make sure to leave a comment down below. Please make sure to like this video, and please make sure to subscribe. As always, stay safe, take care, and God bless.